Alright, welcome to Mr. Z's virtual anemone lab. Unfortunately, the anemones didn't survive the trip, most of them. We only have two that are in relatively good health. And they're ready to go for the lab, so I'm going to go through the lab on video and then we'll review it in class. So you'll notice the lights are out in the classroom, and the anemones are on the first lab table and they're covered up with a box. So I'm going to turn the classroom lights on. They've been under the box and in the dark for about a half an hour. But I want to show you the other materials of the lab before we get started working with the anemones. So here are the same materials that you'll find on the materials list on the lab handout. We've got a pair of forceps on the left, a blunt metal probe, an Erlenmeyer flask of dilute vinegar, a small pipette, some shrimp pellets. Now on your lab handout it says a bowl of brine shrimp. But I decided to go with the shrimp pellets because they're a lot easier to work with. And then I also added a lamp. This is a rather powerful lamp. So in addition to uncovering the anemones, I'm also going to turn on the lamp and shine the lamp on them as soon as I uncover them. So the idea here is to see what they're doing in the dark. So as soon as I uncover the box, you'll see what they're doing in the dark and see if there's any kind of reaction to the light that you can, or any kind of behavior that you can assume is a reaction to being exposed to light all of a sudden. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the lamp on. Excuse me. It's rather bright, as you can see. And here we go. Hopefully the camera is adjusting its light exposure for you. Now, nothing with anemones happens fast. No behavior happens fast, so we need to watch for a while and see if there's anything that could be construed as a reaction to the light. I would say we have a reaction. The one on the left is definitely reacting. The one on the right seems to be a little sleepy. Kind of pretty, aren't they? Pink tips. Actually, the common name for these are pink tip anemones. Trying to see what's going on with the other one. Looks like we're pretty much done getting any kind of reaction. So that's the light test. Now I'm going to remove the spotlight or the lamp so that we can perform the rest of the lab. The second part of the lab has to do with can anemones sense touch? And to do that, we're going to use the blunt metal probe. Now, the anemone may be sensitive to touch on different parts of its body. And if you'll recall, an anemone has a basal disc that it uses to attach itself. The body form that an anemone is in is a polyp, and so they're attached by their basal disc, and their tentacles are facing upwards. And just by turning off the lamp, we've already seen a change in his behavior a little bit. I'm going to let him get comfortable in this level of light before I go ahead and apply the touch experiment. But the idea here is to not only touch the anemone obviously on the tentacles, but also on its body wall and possibly its basal disc to see if there's any difference. Let's see what it looks like if we look straight down here through the water. Yeah, that adjusts the light a little bit better for you, so you get a better idea of just how pretty they are. Got a shine coming from the room lights. The other thing about that lamp is the bulb, I believe, is a special daylight bulb, so it has the same kind of wavelengths as the sun. So we might have seen a big reaction there because it's very similar to sunlight. So that's good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and touch the anemone and we'll see if there's any kind of reaction. So here comes the blunt probe, Mr. Anemone. Da, 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 da. So I'm just touching one tentacle. Not seeing much of a reaction with light touch. Not seeing much reaction with any kind of touch. Let's try the body wall. It gets a little distorted looking through this side of the glass, but poke, poke. Not getting much of a reaction. Let's see if I touch it near the mouth, which is right in the center there. Well, I've roughed them up pretty good. We're not seeing a whole lot of reaction. Which is surprising to me. I don't know what your hypothesis was about whether or not they can sense touch, but I thought they could, and that we would see a reaction. I'm hitting it with the lamp again to see if it'll do the same thing that it did before. I've just set the lamp on top of the bowl there to give it a really bright blast of light. So we're definitely getting a reaction from that. Looks like a blooming flower. The other one seems to be responding somewhat too. I wonder if I put the light on the ones that aren't doing very well in the aquarium, if they would perk up. I'll try that when I'm done here. So our final experiment is whether or not anemones can sense light, or can smell. And for that, I plan to use the dilute vinegar. Dilute, sorry about that view. Dilute meaning that it is watered down quite a bit. And I only need a little bit. So if you can see what's in the tube there, there's not much, because I don't want to put too much on. And I'm going to put the camera down because I have to take the light off. Good. Alright, so here we go. Just a little bit of dilute vinegar. Test number 1. And alright, now I'm going to try to set up the camera so I don't have to hold it because I need to use two hands. And the reason is because I think the removal of the light is affecting our results. So I'm trying to set this so it will video without me holding it. And now I'm going to use the light. Shine it from this side so it's not overexposed. And then I'm going to try, well, after he's done opening up, let's wait till he opens up again. He or she. And now I'm going to apply the vinegar again and see what happens. A little bit more this time. Oh. Oh, there's a reaction. Few tentacles. That is, if you want to interpret that as a reaction to the vinegar. Put the light on top again. Now hopefully I haven't harassed him to the point where he's not interested in the brine shrimp. And I'm going to use the forceps and just pick up one small piece of brine shrimp. Pellets. Shrimp pellets. Actually, it's not brine shrimp. It's regular shrimp just like at Red Lobster. I'm going to have to move the light again. Pick up the brine shrimp. And I'm going to simply place it into the tentacles. Oh, and I missed. So I'll get another piece. Notice how the tentacles have shriveled up a little bit as a result of the vinegar. Like I said, hopefully that won't affect our feeding experiment. So there's the brine shrimp, or shrimp pellet, sorry. I'm going to pick the light back up again so we get a well lit and happy anemone. Once again, we're seeing a reaction. Unfortunately, we can't see the pellet anymore. Or just barely. But you can interpret that reaction as you like, as well as the other experimental results. And we'll end this demonstration now. Enjoy your write-up.